are times in life when you need to learn to do it afraid. And you need to acknowledge that there is fear, worry, trepidation, that there's overwhelm, that there are things that you feel and things that you sense that are uncomfortable. And yet, in many of those moments, you must still be willing to do it afraid. Today, I want to talk to you on this episode of Hope Rising about what life will sometimes require from you in the midst of a journey. I know that it sounds good and it may even feel good to believe that you can always be fearless, not feel fear, not sense fear, not even really be affected by fear. And don't get me wrong, I've had some of those moments, and man, when they come, they're beautiful. But the question is, what do you do when you feel the fear and it won't shift, won't leave, won't seem to flee you the way you wish it would? Those are the moments that require faith, that require courage, that require for you to lean into a part of yourself that maybe you don't even know exists. Today, we need to talk for a moment about the fact that on the other side of your fear, on the other side of your worry, even on the other side of your failures, is when you find the greatest parts of yourself. Oftentimes, we find the most powerful version of ourselves just after we're gripped by fear, just after we're rattled by failure, just after we're affected by disappointment, heartbreak. Yeah, that's when you find out what you're capable of. And so I don't know who it is I'm talking to today. I don't know who needs this message. By the way, if I am live for real, so if you are listening, it is in real time if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube. Now, you might be listening after the fact on my official podcast. So feel free to comment. I see you there, Dan, commenting. He says, fearless to me means yes, I'm going to be afraid, but I'm going to do it anyway. That is exactly it. That I have to decide. Sometimes when we are gripped by fear, we actually feel like we've been robbed of decision. I'll say that again. Sometimes when we're gripped by fear, we feel like we have been robbed of decision. I don't have a decision I can make. I'm in a chokehold. I'm in a stranglehold from this fear or from this overwhelm. But what if I told you that if you still can feel the fear, if you still can feel the overwhelm, that means you're still breathing. So even if the chokehold is on you, it ain't working all the way. Even if it has you in its grips, you still have the ability to take in the breath of God, to still take in the courage of God, to still take in the wisdom of God. There's things that you are capable of even if you're in the grips of fear. So move anyway. You will then find how strong you really are, how courageous you really can be. The question is there ever a need for faith without fear? I mean, without trepidation, you don't need fear, do you? You just need a good plan. The reason I need fear is when I look at the situation and the situation looks insurmountable. The time that I need fear is when I look at my circumstances and I'm so taken over by the circumstances. I try to tabulate it, I try to calculate it, I try to orchestrate it, and it all seems impossible. Those are the moments when I'm going to need to become something that is greater than the me I've seen. I'm going to become, I don't care if it's more courageous. Sometimes you need the faith because you need to be more loving. Sometimes it's because you need to be more accepting. Sometimes it's because you need to be more creative. There's things that have to be birthed out of you. I found myself thinking earlier today about the many ways that I have interacted with fear in the last year of my life. I have sat as a therapist and watched people, as a counselor, watching people who are trying to overcome addiction. They have this relationship with fear. The fear is telling them that they can't get sober. that they can't take their life back, that they can't overcome the addiction, that they can't ever have joy or peace or happiness. I've watched fear through the eyes of a parent watching young children as they interact with, is this really possible for me? Can I really do these things, mommy and daddy, that you say that I can? I've interacted with fear as a husband watching my wife as she interacts with life and the many roles she plays in it. Can I really be good enough, strong enough, loving enough, kind enough, patient enough, compassionate enough? And I've seen through the eyes of a coach, watching business owners and entrepreneurs in transition. Can I really do the things I need to do to take care of my family and take care of the customers? Can I really grow and evolve and mature in the ways that I need to be effective and efficient and to walk in the fullness of my destiny? And of course, I've interacted with fear as a human. And on the most basic of levels, what I can tell you is that there is no person fear does not interact with. Whether you are man or woman, Republican or Democrat, young or old, whether you are in the United States of America, you live somewhere else in the world, it doesn't really matter. Fear comes to all men and all women. The question isn't will it come, but how will you act and react in its presence? I'm going to say that again. When, not if, but when the fear comes, how do you act and react in its presence? Because that truly is what will define where you go next in your faith journey. It's not will the fear come, but will you say yes anyway? Will you build the dream anyway? Will you grow in stature and in wisdom and in the way that you show up to life anyway, even when it's hard? Even for me to come on and do these videos, I feel out of practice. I'm used to speaking more often and being in front of people more often. And now our season and our lives have changed, and we've got a baby coming, and I work best first thing in the morning, and now some days I get up in the morning and I gotta make breakfast, and I need some faith to overcome the fear that I'm gonna burn the food, because kids, man, like kids will be like, "Daddy, these pancakes are really nasty. Daddy, that was way too much salt. I'm not eating that. Can we go to McDonald's?" Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. It takes faith to overcome fear just to do the daily life. And then I've got ministry and I've got business and I'm trying to parent and I'm trying to love on my wife and I'm doing all these things in the midst of the day. And we don't always get honest about how often fear kicks into our lives. Maybe I'm different than you. Like maybe I relate to life differently than you. Maybe I feel some stuff different than you. You guys can tell me in the comments, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on replay. You can tell me. But I know that when I'm really self-aware, I feel fear often. I'm a professional speaker. I love going on stage. The bigger the crowd, the better I feel. I've never walked on a stage without fear. I've just learned how to harness my courage in the midst of it, how to find my voice in the midst of it, learning how to love, learning how to live out loud in the midst of it. That's the gift. I don't think that the gift is fearlessness. Sometimes you're supposed to be scared. Some of the most hard-headed things I did in my life is because nobody told me I was supposed to be afraid. Hey, Maurice, real quick. Your dumb behind needs to be scared right now, or you're going to mess up in real bad ways. Most of when I go through my life regrets, the things in my life over the 41 years I've been here on the earth, the things that I shouldn't have said and shouldn't have done and places I shouldn't have gone, it's in the list where I should have actually paid attention to my fear. I just shouldn't have allowed it to guide my path. See, fear is just an indicator. It doesn't indicate that you're weak. It doesn't indicate that you're broken. Fear simply indicates to you there's something to be afraid of in your surroundings, that there is potential danger in front of you. Fear says, make sure you are alive and alert and looking for what could go wrong. Fear is a primal instinct. It is something that is there to keep you alive, but sometimes if you're not careful, it will keep you alive but keep you from living. Do you understand that? That my fear will keep me from doing that thing or saying that thing because I think to myself, oh my gosh, if I do this thing or if I say this thing, I could get embarrassed. I could mess up, I could screw up, and I don't think I could handle that. I may not survive. It will keep you alive, but it'll also keep you from living. Living involves success and failure, trial and error, wins and lessons. There's the ups and the downs. And if you're not experiencing all those things, you're not fully living your life. So my encouragement for you today, and I'm not going to be with you long. I'm actually about to wrap up soon. This is going to be one of the shortest episodes that I do. But I want you to hear, be thankful when you feel fear. It's the proof you're still alive. That whatever that primal thing that God put within you that helps you to make sure that you don't get taken out for no reason, you should be grateful when the fear shows up. You should be grateful that you still get to feel the beating heart, the pumping heart, the breaths that are uncontrollable. Thank God for breath. Thank God for blood. Thank God for my nervous system. Thank God for my brain. Thank God for my thoughts. Thank God for all of it. Now I get to choose how I interact with it. It's something I will use as a tool, not be overwhelmed by as a crutch. So if today you are a person who has been overwhelmed by fear, I wish I could tell you it's going to go away. Oh, I love that. Dan Immel said, it's like a thermometer. It just tells you how hot or cold it is in here. By the way, the more that it's important to you, the more afraid you feel. You want to talk about what it's a thermometer of? It's a thermometer of your love. Man, whenever I'm going to do something that matters to me, if I was talking earlier about, when I make the food for my family and I start to get nervous and worried and overwhelmed, and what if I jack up the food? It's because I care about my family. If I didn't care about them, I wouldn't care. Hey, y'all just eat what I give you. No, I love them so much. I want to do well. Do right by them. Are you with me? If there are areas of your life you've always wanted to sing, you want to write the book, you want to start the business, and the fear shows up, that's the thermometer, the indicator of how much you care. So then you have to remind yourself, well, if I care that much, then I'm thankful that it's keeping me here, but failing probably ain't really going to kill me. Disappointment's not really going to kill me. Look at me. I'm here. You know how many times I've been disappointed? It never took me out. It never shut me down. The reality is the fear never muted your mouth and kept you quiet. You allowed your own reactions to the fear to do that. And the reason you need to hear it is because if you've been muted, you can find your voice now. If you've been silent, you can find your courage now. So whoever you are, wherever you are, however you are, whenever you're listening to this message, I want to tell you, feel the fear, then do it afraid. Know that you are worth the yes in your journey. And there are people who are listening to you, who are waiting to listen to you. People who are waiting for that version of you to emerge and evolve. They've been praying prayers you don't know they're praying. And they just want to see you arrive. on the other side of this thing. I hope you guys got something out of this. Do me a favor, go back and just listen to the other episodes. I have been trying to just jump on here, give more thoughts, more feelings, more sentiments, trying to just record more often. I did a great interview earlier this week, and I hope that you will go back and you will take a listen to that recording. And then go back to some of the past episodes. So much wisdom, so much insight, so much perspective. And I want to make people sure that people are getting what you need, because the reality is, whether you are the leader in your household, the leader in your ministry, the leader in your business, you need hope. You need courage. And you need the greatest version of you to emerge. All right, that's it for today. I'm jumping off of here. I don't have anything else to say. Do me a favor if you would. Would you share this with somebody else? Jump on Facebook if you're not there now. Jump on YouTube if you're not there now. Grab the share link. And then would you send this to a friend? Would you text this to somebody who needs it? You know they've been gripped by fear. You know they've been overwhelmed by emotion. Would you send this to somebody who really needs this message? And then I look forward to talking to you very, very soon on another episode of Hope Rising, where the unfulfilled go for fulfillment and those who inspire go for a dose of inspiration. We'll see you soon.